Right, so this is the first project video that I'm uploading on the channel, and it's about my Yamaha Xj 400 from 1984.
No. Come on, now it's time. Yes. Yeah. Might be that the hose isn't connected.
Well, as you can see here, I had some problems with that the bike didn't want to start up. So when you dealing with bikes this old, uh, when you've done all the basic checks, like if the spark plug has spark and that all the fuel hoses are connected to whatever it is that it should be connected to, then I usually tend to go to for the carburetors. Just pull it out from the bike, take it apart, give it a good thorough clean, and be super precise when you put it back together, so that you don't break anything or lose a piece or something like that. After I've done the carburetors, I tend to go for the valve clearance, which is also almost always out of spec on these old bikes. Uh, I guess you can do it the other way around, that you start with the valves, but I tend to go for the carburetors first because it feels like a bigger job, uh, depending on how much you take the carburetors apart, as I do here. It's almost like completely apart from the bridge and everything. So if you do that, it takes well, at least a day if you're gonna be very thorough and precise. And then it's just to give it some more gas. You need fresh gas in the cleaned out carburetors and try to start it up again.
Well,
Okay, so on every carbureted bike, it's going to be a screw on the carburetor body that controls the air and fuel mixture. And if this screw isn't set properly, if it's too much out of spec, the bike will run bad or doesn't run at all. In my case, that was one of the problems with the carburetor, so I adjusted it and got the bike back up and running again. Okay, so as you can hear, the bike is up and running badly, but it still runs, so it's a big improvement. But I took it back in the garage and did some more adjustments on the fuel air mixture, and I got it running pretty nicely. It still makes this weird sound, like a ticking sound, that you think is from the engine, but it's actually from a rust hole in the exhaust. So it's not really a big deal. I'm just gonna weld that later. So since the bike was up and running now, it was time to do some work on the front brake system that didn't really want to work out as it should. So I ended up replacing almost everything except the brake calipers in front.
Alright, so I just been to a local racing store called Roffes Workshop and picked up some brake lines and brake pads.
As I said before, I ended up replacing almost all the components in the brake system. I took the brake handle from my GSX 750 that I have in here in the garage. And I also bought the new brake lines, and I went for steel braided ones instead of the original rubber lines. And I can't really say if the steel braided ones is better than the rubber ones, but it tends to be a different feeling when you hit the brakes if you have steel or rubber lines. With steel you have a little bit more direct feeling, and with rubber you have a little bit softer feeling, so I guess it's what you prefer when you're hitting the brakes. And I also cleaned up the front disc a bit, since I've done a lot of messy work and spilled a lot of brake fluid on the disc, so it's very important to clean it up before you try the brake system out. And I also took the brake calipers off the bike. I took them apart, gave them a good cleaning. The round shiny thing you can see here in the picture is the brake piston. Pull that out, give it a good wipe down so it's very smooth, so it can slide back and forth easy into the cylinder. That's the part that presses on the brake pads, that presses on the brake disc, that makes the bike stop. And in the cylinder here, in the brake caliper, there's a couple of rubber seals that you can change. So I did it and put in new ones to prevent leakage from the brake fluid.